Hey everybody, Joel at Up North Aquatics here. Today we are going to do a fish room update and feeding. And it's going to be a little different feeding today because we are going to feed everything frozen food. This is, let's see, 20 cubes of frozen brine shrimp. And we're going to try to make it last the whole fish room here. If it doesn't, we'll supplement with some other stuff. Some fish won't be getting it, the pond won't be getting it, and the large, I guess I could show you, right? Pond won't be getting it, and these large South Americans won't be getting it because they don't share it well. One fish will take down the whole cube. So I'm just going to do them with their regular pellets. Other than that, everybody in here will be getting some frozen brine shrimp. So let's get started. All right, we'll start here with the female betas. Now, in this tank there is a whole sorority of female betas, a whole school of bloodfin tetras, school of x-ray tetras, and a bunch of spotted and striped Raphael cats. So I'm going to give them two cubes, just with the theory that some of it will make it to the bottom for some of those bottom feeders, those catfish in there. These females don't really know exactly what to do with the frozen food quite yet. They let it thaw out and sink. So should have plenty of time for everybody to get some. Nothing much has changed here. Everything's still going well. And this frozen food will also help condition those females for some breeding projects coming up. So stay tuned for that. Next here we'll do our 55-gallon yellow lab breeding tank. I think 1 cube will just be fine for these guys, and I don't know how they're gonna take to it. They all hang out down there as they're doing now when I feed, and they let the food come to them. So I don't expect a whole lot of feeding action from these guys. This tank setup has been doing really well. You notice it's scaped differently from when we scaped it on the channel. That's because the smooth flat rocks that I used in there to try to build tunnels out of, I think they suited the South Americans a lot better. So I put this fake coral, it's just made out of concrete, in here because it has those tiny holes all over the place in that coral. Babies will be able to fit in and out of there until I can get them caught out so that they keep from being eaten, because there is a rainbow shark in here as well. And some of the food's starting to sink now, so you can see they're starting to get excited about it. I mean, look at that color and movement. I don't think you can beat that. And just all yellow, all of one kind. I really like that a lot better than the mixed Mbuna tanks, and that's just my personal preference. I've seen some mixed Mbuna tanks that look awesome, but I do like the uniform all yellow, and the only thing different is just the single rainbow shark. Again, my preference, but this thing will slowly sink and these guys will stay right where they are. They like to be close to cover because in their mind, when they come out to eat, it's exposing them to predators. So they're just going to keep letting that come down to them, and as it gets close enough to their little hidey holes that they feel comfortable eating it, they'll eat it little bits at a time. Alright, here's our 55-gallon tiger barb tank. I'll probably give these guys 2 cubes because there's a Kissingarami and a catfish in here as well. So let's watch these guys go nuts. As you can see, they already are. That almost looks like some sort of breeding behavior. A male chasing a female, maybe. And the water has warmed up quite a bit since I put that heater in, which is great. Not that they can't handle the colder temperatures, they totally can, they just kind of get lethargic. And I wanted them to look awesome for filming and just be a little more fun to watch, so warming up the water a little bit, just keeping them a little more active. And once these guys get a taste of that food in the water, I don't think it'll be long before they're all out. Matter of fact, I'm surprised they're not all over there, but here they come. This is why I love these barbs. I mean, just the amount of constant activity. I suppose I can move this camera over to where the food's sinking, so you can get a really good shot of them eating. And hopefully they should all start coming into the picture here. There's about 20 of them in here, and they are slowly but surely all starting to sense that there's food in the water. So here comes more. So yeah, this is always a fun one, and we will move on here. Just wanted to add this clip here before we leave this tank, because there's our big guy coming out. He's always hiding in the plants, but as soon as he smells food in the water, he comes out and starts looking for it. He's a little derpy, kissing her on me. Kind of a little strange. And it's not just the tiger barbs. Every fish I put him with, he acts like this. So I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe some of you could help me out. But yeah, he seems totally healthy. He comes out to eat, but we just don't see him much because he loves to be in those plants buried so thick that you can't even see him. And you'll get a little view of the pictus cat down there too. Here's a tank that's gonna get probably 3 cubes or so. 6 silver dollar tetras, an albino Bashir, a Jack Dempsey, an electric blue Cara, and our green terror that finally seems to be parasite free and eating again, but we'll see how he does. There's still meds in the water. He's just actually finally showing signs of recovery. For those of you who don't know, he made it all the way through quarantine just fine for like a month on his own, and then I put him in the tank here with all these other fish that also quarantined for a month with no signs of diseases. Excuse me. And all of a sudden he's showing up with obvious signs of parasites. So I don't know. Excuse me again. I don't know where that came from. But he's finally starting to get interested in food again. He's finally starting to get his color back, and his belly's not flat anymore. It's starting to round out, so I know he's eating again. It's taking him some time to recover here, so he's taking small bites anyway. He's the one right down here. So that's good. He's on the mend. I'd hate to lose him. Not that he's an expensive fish or a hard fish to find, but his personality and his color, I really do just like having him around. And there he goes. So great. He's on the mend. That's what we want to see down here. So we'll call that a wrap on this tank and move on to the next one. Alright guys, so here's the first 3 of my breeding takes. This is pink endlers, albino bristlenose plecos and blue mystery snails, and then magenta mystery snails and mutt endlers. So basically every color that I didn't want to breed for that specific color went in here with some random colored females. My strategy here is if I put a whole cube in every single one of these, it'll never get eaten in time. So my strategy here is that I'm going to take the frozen cube in my hand and just mash up little corners of it into the tanks. So without blocking the light here, you get a little bit. I'm going to let the rest of that sink in here because there's enough fish in there. And then for these antlers here, they'll get half a cube, probably 3/4 of that cube, and then all the way down on the other end, past the shrimp tanks that aren't going to get frozen shrimp to eat. There's another, these are the black antlers, and they'll get the rest of that cube. So that's how we'll do that. And pretty much the only fun ones to watch eat here are going to be these assorted antlers here. You can probably get a pretty good look at them. Kind of all frenzy feeding and just how many different colors we have. So super cool. There's babies in here now, which is super exciting. So can't really give you a good prediction on what they're going to look like, but just great news for now. And then these 2 tanks are shrimp. So we have red shrimp and golden mystery snails, blue shrimp and ivory mystery snails. These guys are going to get green beans almost every single day, and then on the off days they either get nothing and just kind of let them eat off the nature in the tank, or they get shrimp pellets from Flu Ball. And so far so good. That's a new food I'm just kind of trying out, but they do really well with it. But of course they're not going to give us much action either, and there's not really enough shrimp in there that you can really see them too well yet. I think there might be 10 in here, and there's 6 in here. I know there's buried females, but can't can't really pick them out. When they're crawling with shrimp, we'll get some really good looks at those tanks, and I'm hoping that won't be too long. So one last look at our Mutt Antler tank here. Now that they're pretty much all in the front, how many different colors we're going for. We got green, we got blue, we got black, we got orange, we got pink, and then we have some of the females are like the, I think they're like yellow. They're tequila sunrise female guppy maybe. And then there's that black female that just came up front with the orange in the tail. Sorry for not knowing the names of these strains, but this is just kind of what I'm going for here, is just a mutt. Just something with lots of color and lots of movement. Just to me, that's fun and exciting. So we'll move on to the next tank. Okay, so this is the 75 gallon that we just scaped. This is the new South Central American cichlids. This rainbow cichlid, where's my finger? Right here, who's showing a ton of color, as well as the green Texas here. The only one that hasn't covered up is over here in this corner. Glass surfing and getting chased right now. Sorry for pumping the tripod. It's the Vieja, not showing a whole lot of color. There's a little bit of like chasing going on in here, but no crazy aggression, no nipping, nobody's hurt. It never lasts more than a few seconds at a time, so kind of not too worried about it. They also weren't doing it at all as I was feeding the rest of the fish room that I saw. It just kind of started when I came over here with food, so I think that might be what's going on. But as always, we'll monitor these guys, and if aggression seems to be a long-term issue, we have plenty of places for South and Central Americans in here, so we can move them around accordingly. I'm going to give these guys 2 cubes. Actually 3, just because I'm trying to put some size on them quick, and we'll see what they do with them. I have fed frozen food before, weren't too keen on it the first time, but as you can see, I think they kind of remember it and are recognizing it as food now. But again, not taking it from the surface, they're just waiting for it to fall to them. It's a little odd for me. Usually these guys have been surface eaters, but anyway, there they are, showing off and eating a little bit. That rainbow cichlid that's just coming into the picture. He seems to like to eat off the bottom, so maybe that's a thing with him. I'm actually not quite sure. I went against my own advice here and kind of ordered these guys without doing a ton of research. I knew what I could and couldn't get away with, and I knew that they would all work long term in other tanks in the fish room. So I figured I'd try them together. And these are all fish I just got for color. So, but yeah, so I'm not too sure why he picks stuff off the bottom. That might just be totally normal for them. I know a lot of these guys can be sand sifters and whatnot, so I'm sure some of it will make it to the bottom and he'll grab some. But yeah, this is turning out to be one of my favorite tanks down here. And when these fish get big, I cannot wait to show you guys. So make sure you stick around for some huge, colorful South Americans here. And this scape, let me know what you think about this scape in the comments. I did a scaping video on this. So yeah, definitely let me know. And if you wanted to see how I did it, it's not that difficult. Check that video out for sure. And yeah, definitely let me know what you think. I want some input on this one because I think it looks cool and I think it's kind of functional, but always down to just see what everybody else's opinions and experiences are. One of the greatest ways to learn in this hobby is to share with each other. So I'm going to feed a couple smaller tanks. I think we're going to split some cubes, and it looks like we have enough cubes left that we can give them to our bigger fish. So let's go ahead and go down to those smaller tanks. So here's our 20-gallon Mutt Antler, male Antler, female guppy Mutt quarantine tank. Just more male Antlers and female guppies for the Mutt 10-gallon, and hopefully some of them will get moved into maybe a tote on the floor or a tub outside would be cool or something like that. But for now, they're just quarantining in here together. I'm actually going to pull the females and the few males that I want. I'm very male heavy. So the few males that I want out of here and all the females are going to go in the Mutt tank tonight when I'm done filming. I'm going to leave the males that I don't necessarily don't want them, I just don't need them. So like I'm very heavy on the green snake skins, I'm very heavy on the pink ones. And I'm actually trading the ones that I don't want away for the new fish that we're gonna quarantine and grow out in here, which is gonna be fun, so stick around for that. I'll move that around later tonight, but I don't know what I'm blabbing for. It's late, I'm tired, so let me throw some food in here. Just gonna give them 1 cube. I don't like to feed heavy when I'm quarantining, because, well, they don't really need it. For one, and for two, it's been discussed on other channels and other forums and stuff about not feeding them super heavy and just kind of letting them soak in medicated water can be a better way of quarantining than trying to fatten them up right away and whatnot. I've done it both ways. I've had success both ways, I guess. And I've even like quarantined without meds, but this being buying mutt females and mutt males and mixing them together kind of makes me wonder about, I guess, the quality of the water, where they came from maybe, or something like that, because mutts are basically fish that were bred for a specific color that didn't quite hit the mark and were taken out of whatever system they were in so that they weren't reproducing for a specific quality or color or whatever. And sometimes, and maybe it's just me being paranoid, sometimes I don't wonder if those mutt fish don't get mistreated a little bit, or no, it's just not monitored as closely for diseases and stuff. I mean, in my mind, if I had a group of, you know, prize winning live bears that were selling at a top premium, I'd be focusing all my time on them, and the ones that didn't look right would be going into a mutt tank and, you know, sell a grab bag out of there for, you know, 10 for 20 or whatever, and I probably wouldn't pay attention to them as much. So again, probably just me being paranoid, but I am medicating these guys in case that was a situation they were in. I hope that makes sense. Again, rambling. So let's split up a couple cubes between some smaller tanks over here and feed the big guys, and we can wrap up this tour and update. All right, the 2.5 gallons. All there is one male green snakeskin Antler, one male neon blue Antler, and then one female guppy in each tank, just to see what they would throw. The guppies are just like the half black standard PetSmart guppy, so their gene pool is probably not like true to their color anyway. It's all for fun, see what I can get. There is a ton of babies, and this one here, she hasn't dropped yet. And of course, we're not going to see any of them, because I keep them heavily planted for a reason. But my plan here, kind of rub this on the glass, get a little bit in the water, because again, we're only really feeding this to 2 fish. Some fry food will go in there for the babies. And that was way too much in there, but there's snails. And crinkle a little bit next in there. Save the little bit I have left in my hand for this next tank that I will show you right about here. And it's not 1 tank, it's 2. I lied again. Man, am I horrible. These are the white clouds that I'm not breeding, but still trying to allow to colony breed, but I don't think they will, because there's snails in here and they're egg scatterers. But definitely have some male and females of the goldens and male and females of the regulars that are hard to see because they're in a dark tank, which I'm hoping will help. The reason I think they're not successful in here, even though I know I have females spawning in the morning and I know I have males joining them because I've seen it, is these ram's horn snails, which I'm also breeding to sell. I mean, you don't make a ton of money on them obviously, but you could really get a nice like grab bag of snails for $5 or something. But anyway, my theory here is that I think the snails go in those mops and eat the eggs. So I could be wrong there, but if anybody knows the answer to that, I would really appreciate it if you let me know. Do the snails eat eggs? Do ram's horn snails eat fish eggs? I've been dying to know, so if you could let me know, that would be awesome, somebody. So I'm gonna do the same thing here and just smush the cube in half. I don't know how they're gonna take to this, so we'll hang out and watch for a little bit. But I don't think they've ever been fed this, but we'll see. And just about no interest at all, which is awesome, which means I'm just feeding the snails more and they're gonna breed more, so. Yeah, man, they're really not taken to the frozen food. Note taken. Maybe I'll try bloodworms frozen next, and if they won't take that, maybe I'll just kind of give up on it. They eat fancy guppy food, Viber bites, high quality flakes, pretty much everything else I feed them. But if this is not a hit, it's a bummer, because they're all hiding under the sponge filters in the back, and I want them up front here so you can see them because they're very pretty. But I mean, it is what it is. If they won't eat it, you know, can't make them. So there is one lone regular color white cloud down in here that if you watch closely you can see him move, that is eating it, and that's it. Nope, here they come. There's the goldens for you. All right, cool. I was hoping they'd start showing some action. Just took them a while to figure it out, because yeah, they're I mean, look at the color on the goldens. That's super cool, I think. Looks like I got 3 males and 1 female in there, which is actually a pretty good ratio. You only need 1 female to spawn the eggs, and you gotta, they'll drop them every single morning almost, or every few mornings or so. It's the males, you want to make sure you have enough males that they actually get fertilized. That's the big thing with these guys. So maybe I'll have some luck in here, who knows. I mean, if they do spawn every few days, chances are a couple of them are going to make it, but we'll see what happens, and I'll keep you updated on that as well. Just had to give some love to the African clawed frogs because they got an upgrade here. I'm not going to feed them the frozen food, but it's worth mentioning that they did get an upgrade. I had about a dozen eggs, like 10 of them hatched and made it to tadpole. 8 survived as tadpoles. 6 made it to adult, and these are still juvenile. The 6 made it to their adult form, like the frog form. And 6 of them survived to this size, and I had to get rid of 2 of them, and I was kind of bummed. Like, growing them out in a 10-gallon, you just kind of slowly give them away, rehome until you're down to like 2, and see if that works. So being able to have this 20-gallon for them to hang out in, and of course they're not going to put on a show for you, but so you can see them right here, and the other 2 ones right here. You can see his legs, and the other one's probably like behind or under the rock. But just knowing that I can keep all 4 that I have left is makes me happy. So I really do like these guys, and it's cool having something other than fish down here. I mean, I have my guinea pigs down here, but like something aquatic other than fish is always something neat. I mean, I guess there's something for everybody down here, but yeah, just had to do a quick update on them, since this is not only a feeding video but an update video, and let you guys know what's going on there. So yeah, there's that. We'll follow along and make sure all 4 of them do make it in a 20-gallon long term. So, but let's move on to our big tanks. I got 4 cubes left, so each tank's going to get 2, and we'll see how many. If some fish don't get to eat, basically we'll feed them some more. So here we go. All right, here's the fully grown South Americans. I have the camera up close to the tank so you can't see the whole tank. If it does look small, it's not. It's a 6-foot 125. And I put the camera here because this is where the feeding door is on the lid. So you'll get to see them all once I put food in anyway. But I wanted it to be close enough that you can get like a decent picture on it, get a good look at it. If I put it far enough back that the whole tank was in focus, well, who knows if you'd even catch anything or be able to really tell what's going on. So the food's starting to melt a little bit, so I'll just oh, spooked that guy. But yeah, so yeah, slowly but surely they're getting bites here. I don't know if they've been a while. These guys usually don't get the frozen stuff because as you see, it breaks up pretty small in here, and their mouths are so big and their bodies are so big. Sometimes they won't waste the energy trying to eat something that small because it doesn't give them enough energy to make up for it. It's just a nature thing. So that was pretty uneventful, but at least we got to see everyone except the firemouth, which he's pretty elusive. You can even see the pleco right there. He'll eat pellets. I gotta try to catch that on camera sometime. He's super skittish, but he comes to the surface to eat pellets. So there's that pretty slow moving, boring, uneventful feeding. I'm sure you're glad you stuck around this long to see that one. Now for everyone's favorite, the dirty, dingy old pond. With a bunch of nasty, I mean not nasty, but half melted cubes of frozen food that are kind of splattering everywhere at this point. So what I'm going to do is just kind of peel the kind of, I don't know if that's aluminum or whatever back there, and just basically rinse it out, fill it with water and dump it out. There's a lot of fancy tails in here and single tails in here, which I know shouldn't be mixed, but it's only temporary. Everything but the fancies are going to a pond soon. And they'll all eat that frozen food. As a matter of fact, they are. If you look down in there, oh, the dang glare. I hate that. Come on now. They're all eating it. But I don't think the koi's gonna get any. So I'm close enough to the big boy pellets that I can throw some in there so we can see him get some grub. And we can call it a wrap on this one. Back. So this is only a fish room update. It is after hours for my lights down here, so the lights everywhere else are off and it's dark outside for the pond. We'll go through and update you on the whole house and continue on with like our summer tubbing, outdoor breeding kind of series thing that we started, and do updates on that stuff in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. That's everything down in the fish room here, and hope you enjoyed it. If this is the type of stuff you like to see, let me know. As always, leave me a comment, let's chat, and I just appreciate you all for being here. Well over 100 subs now, and I appreciate every single last one of you. So thank you all very, very much, and I will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.